Boom! Alright folks, so this is a short video. This is a follow-up to the first video where we went into some detailed discussion about the gradient, the radian, and the degree. The end goal of which was to really define the radian and get to the point of understanding the relationship between radians and degrees. So I want to go a little further here where that is concerned in terms of answering the question, how many degrees are there in one radian? That is a common thing that people, is a common question that people have. Yes, we could get the answer and cram it. We'll do a little bit of that, but as I try to do as often as I can, we go into a little detail in terms of explaining it so that people could understand why the answer is what it is. Alright, so we're going back to our original circle where we defined what the radian is. Remember, the radian is the angle that is subtended by an arc on the circle where the length of the arc is 1 radian. Sorry, where the length of the arc is equal to the length of the radius. So in other words, you don't have to cram the definition of a radian. Once you understand this diagram here, right? So in other words, we could explain it like this. Basically what we do, we take an equilateral triangle and we superimpose that onto a circle where this vertex becomes the center. This is 1 radius, this is 1 radius, and of course this now, instead of being a straight line, now becomes a curve, right? The difference, however, between this and this, hold on, right? The difference between these two is that this is an equilateral triangle where you have 3 straight lines. So R, R, and R. This will be 60 degrees. This will be 60 degrees. This will also be 60 degrees. Over here, where we're dealing with this particular situation here, because we no longer have a straight line on this side, this angle also will not be 60 degrees. So basically you can remember it like that. We kind of in equilateral triangle mode, with the exception that one of these sides is now superimposed onto the circumference of a circle, so that you have, instead of a straight line, you have an arc on the circumference equal in length to the radius. That is what gives you an angle of 1 radian at the center of the circle. Yeah? So instead of being 60 degrees, this is 1 radian here. The question is, how many degrees? Right? That is what we're here to answer. So, going back to our last video where we recalled that we had said that pi, no, I think we had it here. We had the 180 degrees on the left side. We had said that 180 degrees is equal to pi radians, right? And we want to find out how many degrees in 1 radian. Well, it's very simple, you know. Once you write it out like this, all we have to do now is make 1 radian the subject of the formula, which we do by dividing the entire equation by pi. So we just cross multiply and we bring pi on the other side. So we say 180 over pi, 180 degrees over pi is equal to 1 radian. Pi we know is 3.142. Of course, most calculators will just have it as a constant. So 180 divided by pi is equal to 59 point, let me write out the whole thing and then we will shorten it. Alright? Is equal to 57.29 577,951. 577,951 degrees. Of course, we're not going to go with all that. So generally, we could say that 1 radian is equal to 57.3 degrees. And that's basically it. So in other words, it's almost 60 degrees. It's not quite 60 as we would have in the case of the equilateral triangle, but it is almost. So that is another way of remembering it. So that basically what we're saying now is that 1 radian is equal to 57.3 degrees. That is something that it is always helpful excuse. It's always nice to have this tucked away somewhere in the back of your head, right? It's hardly likely that they would ask you that directly in a question, but if you have the knowledge, there are times when that knowledge could pull you out of a tight spot. There are times that knowledge can put you in a position where you could double check certain things, and there are times when that knowledge could just take you into other places as you go deeper and deeper into this whole thing about radians and degrees. All right, so that's basically it, right? We answered a question that is very common. People want to know how many radians, so how many degrees are there in 1 radian. So 1 radian, so in other words, it takes 57.3 degrees to make 1 radian. That is basically what the relationship is. So in terms of magnitude, the radian is not even close, right? The gradient and the degree kind of similar. They're kind of close. In fact, 1 degree is 9/10 of our grade, no, 1 gradient, sorry, is 9/10 of a degree. All right, so a degree is a little bigger than a gradient, but the radian, watch that. All right, so that's it for that particular topic. As always, we aim to edify and keep the curiosity going. So there'll be times when we do little things like this, give you little tidbits, little snippets that might necessarily come in an exam, but it's good knowledge to have if you're really serious about this maths. All right, so as always, keep good, take care, and come back for more, because we have plenty more coming.